All right, in this video, we're going to learn how to multiply and divide fractions with mixed numbers. What does that mean? Here's an example problem. -2 and 3/4 times 3/2. Okay. So what do you do when you got this number in front of here? Well, you just have to rewrite it as an improper fraction. How do you rewrite it as an improper fraction? First, you multiply the bottom number of the fraction. What is that, everybody? 4 times the big number here, -2, and then you add the top number, which is 3. Okay, so you got to do it in that order or else it's not going to work. Okay, then you add the sign at the very end. Okay, so I should have said that before, but you add the sign actually at the very end. So just 4 times 2 and then plus 3, then add the sign. Okay, let's do this. 4 times 2 is 8. Then plus 3 is 11. And then you put it over the number that's on the bottom, which is 4. Then you make it negative. Okay, so how do you get the number on top? Multiply it by 4, multiply 2 by 4, and then add 3, put it all over 4, and then you have the sign. Okay, now we can multiply this. 11 times 3, 33. 4 times 2 is 8. And it's negative because we had one negative, one positive. And can we divide 33 and 8 by something in common? No. So that's it. That's our answer. Let's do this one. -1 2/3 times -2. So because this has a mixed number, again, we're going to have to rewrite. 3 times 1 plus 2. In that order. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. And so we have a 5 on top. The 3 stays on bottom, same denominator. And then negative because the thing is negative. Then what do? We're multiplying, right? Well, how do you multiply by just a number, a whole number? We put it over 1. -2 over 1. Don't forget the negative sign. 5 times 2 is 10. 3 times 1 is 3. We have a negative times a negative. That makes a positive. And 10/3 cannot be reduced. They don't have any number, or I shouldn't say number, I should say factor. They don't have any factor in common. All right. Now, how about this? -2, I'll move this up, and 1/2 divided by -2. I don't like that. I'll go -3 and 1/2. Okay. So first, we have to write these as improper fractions with the method I taught you right here above. Okay, so 2 times 2 plus 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. The whole thing's negative, so 5 halves. Negative 5 halves. Divided by, let's write this as an improper fraction. 3 times 2 plus 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Got it negative. Negative 7 halves. All right, next step. Well, actually, I'm going to write it over here. We got a negative 5 halves divided by a negative 7 halves. Well, dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So the first one stays the same, times 2 over 7, but it's negative. Keep thinking that's an x. Negative 2 over 7. I'll put that in parentheses. All right. Equals, okay, so 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 7 is 14. Negative times a negative is a positive, so this is the correct quantity. However, we're not done. Why are we not done, everyone? Because it can be reduced. Both top and bottom have a common factor. What is it? They can both be divided by 2. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. 7 divided, or 14 divided by 2 is 7. So this is your answer. Isn't that interesting? That mass divided by that mass is just 5/7. Okay, last one. Here's an interesting one you might be confused on. So we'll do an example. Okay, so negative 1.5 divided by negative 1. Okay. So I'll just tell you right away, whenever you multiply or divide something by 1 or negative 1, it's going to stay the same. However, the sign just may change. If you divide it by negative 1, you just change the sign. If you multiply it by negative 1, you're just going to change the sign. If you multiply it by 1, it's going to stay exactly the same. If you divide it by 1, it's going to stay exactly the same. So I'll tell you what to do in this case. You change the sign, right? So negative 1.5 just becomes 1.5. Oops. So don't feel like you have to make 1 a fraction, like put it 1 over 1 or anything like that. It's not necessary. You just need to kind of see the big picture here and think about it.